Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech, and this is the review of the iPad Air. Apple's latest iPad is really extremely nice, but let's talk first about the capacities and prices that they offer. This hasn't changed much. They come in at 16, 32, 64, 128 gigabyte, and they range from $500 to $929 depending on if you have an LTE or a 3G radio inside of it. Let's go out over the outside of it. It's extremely light. It comes in at just 1 pound, and it retains the large 9.7-inch display that it had before, 2048 by 1536 with 264 pixels per inch. If we look at the side, you'll see how nice and thin this is, and there's nothing on this side. Let's rotate it to the top, and on the top, since this is the 3G LTE model, we actually have this inset black piece here. You can see we have our camera, microphone, power sleep wake button, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack here. And then on this side, we have volume up and down. We've got our rotate switch in this case, and then our SIM card slot. On the bottom, we have our speakers. Let's get a better look this way. You can see we have our speakers, and then we have our lightning connector, and that's pretty much it. Your simple, typical iPad as far as that goes. We have a forward-facing camera as well, and both the front and rear cameras are really very nice. Inside, we have an A7 chip with 64-bit architecture, along with the M7 Motion coprocessor. The display is super vibrant and super nice. It's very responsive, just like you'd expect, and running iOS 7 has never felt faster. It's using a slightly faster version of the processor that's in the iPhone 5S, but it feels really snappy. I haven't had any delays whatsoever as far as speed goes. Everything just moves really nice and fluidly. In fact, this is iOS at its best as far as speed goes. You can see we've got the parallax effect in the background. The background's moving. It just doesn't hiccup as far as performance goes. The LTE inside of it, depending where you are or what carrier you use, this should work pretty much anywhere in the world. It's got the same sort of setup that the iPhone 5S does, with all those carriers around the world supported. So we really don't have an issue as far as where we're traveling. And this is actually the T-Mobile version that I got, and the reason is they give you 200 megabytes of free data per month. And that's not much, but it's free, and if it's something I need to use, it's there if I'm not on Wi-Fi. Now, as far as lightness compared to the old iPad, it's definitely lighter. It's incredible how thin this really is. When you look at the side here, it's just incredibly thin. It's unbelievable how much they were actually able to cram into this little space, keep the battery life good, and keep everything nice and fast. And speaking of the battery life really has never been better on an iPad in my experience. It's a 32.4 watt-hour lithium polymer battery, and they say it's good for about 10 hours of surfing on Wi-Fi, and it's definitely good for at least 10 hours of surfing. Many people have reported 12 and sometimes even more. In fact, one place even reported using it as a wireless hotspot for 24 hours straight. So that's very impressive specs, and you really can't complain as far as that goes. Durability of the outside is really kind of questionable. This also comes in silver and white, and instead of having an anodized coating like this one does, it's just the pure aluminum with a coating over it. This one actually has a nick in the back of it, and that's something I did. I actually banged this into an iPad 2 by accident, and it took a little bit of a chip out of the anodized coating. So long-term durability of this back is going to be kind of questionable. So I would advise either putting a skin on it or putting maybe the case on it. Now, the iPad is meant to be used every day. Now, I have nothing covering this, but I did buy one of these Apple Smart Covers. They come in at $40 for the cover. They also offer a leather case that goes around the back that comes in at $80. The Smart Cover adheres magnetically just exactly like all the other Smart Covers, and this one is more like the iPad Mini Smart Cover, pretty much identical. It allows it to stand up, acts as a microfiber cloth on the front, and keeps it safe. It really works really well, and if you're going to go this route, I would advise a skin or a back covering or maybe even just a back case. Apple, like I said, does offer a different case for the back, but I like the feel of this. It's a shame that you need to cover it if you want to keep it from scratching over time. As far as upgrading from the last generation of iPad, that's going to be something that's really going to be up to what you're looking for when it comes to an iPad. If you're like me and you're upgrading from the first Retina iPad or the third generation or what Apple called the new iPad, this is going to be a huge jump in speed and it feels so much lighter than that iPad. If you're coming from the fourth generation iPad where they bumped the specs 6 months after the new iPad or third generation iPad, I don't know that you really need to upgrade unless you really want the thinner frame and the narrower bezel of this iPad. Other than that, it's going to be a hard sell as far as the upgrade unless you just upgrade all the time anyway. And if you have, you may already have one of these. So as far as that goes, it's hard to say whether it's worth it or not. Now, this compared to an iPad mini, if you were looking at that, that's also something as far as switching is going to be really subjective to what you're looking for. As far as the mini goes, when the Retina comes out later this next month, it's going to be something that's going to be a very difficult decision for some and easy for others. For me, it's easy. I prefer a larger iPad. But you can see side by side, there's definitely a difference in the size. They're both really great. They both offer pretty much the same experience. The iPad Air is much faster, but overall, when the new iPad Air Retina comes out, they're the same speed. So it's really an idea of which one you want as far as size goes. I prefer the larger. If you prefer the smaller one, you'll save some money and you'll probably be just as happy as I am with the larger one. Apple's really taken the design of the iPad and refined it. Just like the iPad mini, I want to compare this quickly and show you. They're about the same thickness. It's incredible. They've basically just made the larger screen iPad in the same frame as a mini and kind of brought them into about the same size as far as thickness and just shrunk the iPad down, as you can see here. This is the iPad mini black and then space gray iPad Air. They're both really nice. It's just really going to depend on which size you're more comfortable with. I personally like the larger iPad. Some people prefer the smaller iPad. And when the iPad mini Retina comes out, that'll be great for those that want a Retina display on a small iPad. I can definitely recommend the iPad Air. It's a great device. I use it constantly when I'm not using a main computer. In fact, it's my main computing device unless I do heavy video editing. And even the new iMovie offers some great video editing as well. You get all of these apps for free and you can use them on the iPad, and Apple's really made the iPad even that more attractive. So I definitely would recommend it. Let me know what you think about the iPad Air in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.